Hi, everybody. Welcome to Brandon Flight Center's presentation on flight training opportunities here in Westman. My name is Jillian. I'm a Student Services Coordinator for Brandon Flight Center. Our instructors spend an awful lot of their day in the air with students. I'm the one on the ground keeping everything running smoothly. Now, we have an awful lot to cover here today and not a ton of time. But before we jump in, I wanted to thank the organizers of the Manitoba Virtual Career Fair for putting this all together and giving us the opportunity to reach out to all of you. We will not be including a live Q&A session today. There's just simply not enough time to get through everything. If you have questions, though, there are several ways for you to get them to us. There is the chat option throughout the career fair itself, or you can reach out on Facebook. We're at CYBR Airport. For Twitter or Instagram users, it's at Brandon Flight Center, or you can always reach out to us directly by phone or email. The information will be at the end of the presentation. We are going to be including a recording of this on our website, so if you have missed anything, feel free to go back and double check. The website is www.brandonflightcenter.com. And with all of that being said, let's get started. So just to keep everybody on the same page, I'm going to do a quick note on what we're going to cover. I want to tell you a little bit about Brandon Flight Center itself. We've been around for a really long time. But you may not have heard the name very often, so we're going to talk a bit about who we are, what we do. Then I really want to highlight why the aviation community is a great career opportunity right now. There's been a major shift in the industry over the last few years, and some of those old perceptions about what the industry is and what careers look like aren't quite as true as they once were. So we're going to talk a bit about what's changed and how to make that work for you. Then we're going to get into the meat of why everybody's here and discuss the different training opportunities that are available to you to get you into a job right now. I'm going to touch a little bit about how to pick the right pathway program that fits your goals and lifestyle best. And then we're also going to talk about some of the career options and next steps that you can take. Finally, I'm going to end with where you can contact us for more information if you have any questions that I haven't answered. Full disclosure here, I am not a pilot. I'm coming to you as an administrator. So if you are asking any specific questions about equipment or anything like that, I am going to have to talk to my instructors and I'll have them follow up with you. Brandon Flying Club was incorporated way back in 1936 as the Brandon Verdon Flying Club. In 1939, right when the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan was getting started, the Department of Defense was involved in the area, and we ended up suspending civil operations for the duration of the war as we mobilized as part of that program. For people that aren't familiar with the Commonwealth Training Plan, it was responsible for training over 130,000 Air Force personnel from around the world during the Second World War. Brandon Flying Club is still lucky enough to operate out of one of those original hangars. It's a fantastic legacy that we really enjoy sharing with our students. So once the war was over, club activities resumed, and we've continued to operate as a social club, training center, and fixed base operation really ever since. We are incorporated as a local not-for-profit dedicated to supporting flight safety, training, and airmanship throughout the Westman area. We rebranded in 2014 as the Brandon Flight Center to reflect the expansion and addition of more commercial functions, but the club remains at the heart of the organization today. Over the years, we've expanded, as I mentioned, to include the full fixed base operations, providing ground handling, fueling, de-icing, all of that good stuff to our main carrier, WestJet, along with other airlines, charter traffic. We also have a lot of military traffic, and medical transfers have been very, very common in the area. We also support a ton of general aviation, and we have the full AMO, or the maintenance organization, on site providing all of our maintenance. We continue to engage with the community involvement. We do lots of outreach. We do kids flights, sightseeing tours, and of course, we always have our member activities. Lately, we've begun hosting the Glider Cadet program, and we've recently expanded our flight school operations north into the Parkland area with a base out in Dauphin. So now you know who we are. Why aviation? Why now? The aviation industry is changing very, very rapidly. It's often said that the last naval aviator has already been born. And with new technology, new challenges, and new markets, this is a really exciting time to begin your aviation career. The best time to get started on your pilot's license was actually about 2 years ago. And the second best time to get started is right now. Don't wait. Here's why. Okay. Your dad's career in the airline probably looked a bit like this. You pay for flight school, and then you go and get a degree and bum around at some minimum wage jobs flying up north or doing cargo runs, and then finally making it to the airlines. Your career is going to look a lot different. Today, because of the pilot shortage, many of our new grads are getting hired right out of school. Some pilots are getting hired with as few as 2,000 hours and going straight to the airlines. That accelerated career path can have a major impact on your future earnings and gets you doing what you love a little bit faster. In Canada, estimates of 7,300 new pilots required by 2025 is often being stated. Now, that's out of a total of between 15 to 20,000 pilots across the country. We have a very, very small, tight-knit community. The other thing is diversity hiring. This is no longer an industry exclusively made up of white males. Yes, women still only make up about 7% of the industry, but that percentage is growing. And the industry is very, very aware that women, minorities are going to be key in continuing to support the growth going forward. You're seeing a lot of effort being made to make it a more inclusive community that reflects the Canadian society. Now, I alluded to this a little bit earlier. Of course, technological advancement is huge right now. There's new types of aircraft all the time. We're talking about commercial space flights, flying cars are in existence. The Manitoba aerospace industry is going to be discussing stuff a little bit later, so I'm not going to go into a ton of details. They are far better equipped to discuss this than I am, but do check back with them. We're also talking about things like environmental sustainability. The airlines often get a bad rep for being major pollutants, and that's certainly still true, but that's not exclusively true. Electric aircraft are making their way onto the market now. Hybrid motors, sustainable aviation fuels are well in use, and there's been a lot of effort made to make sure that planes are flying fuel efficiently. And the other reason why it's a great opportunity is the sheer diversity of career choices here in Canada. We're a huge country that relies on aviation to do a lot of kind of day-to-day things. Medical transfers are really increasing, particularly here in Brandon. We have the ag industry. There's, of course, cargo that is booming with the increase in online shopping. And travel is still a strong driver. Now we're getting to what you're really here for. That's the career training programs that get you into that pilot seat. Brandon Flight Center has an award-winning staff of professional flight instructors to work with you to achieve your goals. We understand that the industry is changing, and our goal is to make sure that you have the flight skills, but also the personal skills, not just to fly a plane, but to be successful as a pilot in today's industry. No matter what program you choose at Brandon Flight Center, you can be certain that you're going to get an exceptional experience. We're a fully certified flight training unit. We're also a registered private vocational institution and a designated learning institution. Students may also find themselves eligible for up to 33 credit hours of prior learning and recognition credit through Brandon University if you choose to go that route after completing your license. Career programs may also be eligible for student aid, RESPs, and scholarships. Just make sure to read the fine print and be sure that it's recognized for vocational training. We offer year-round training with almost 300 days of VFR weather, meaning it's clear and it's easy to fly in. We have a mixed fleet of Cessna 172s and Piper Cherokees. Students are encouraged to pick their favorite, and then once you finish your private license, switch to the other one for the commercial license so you get a full range of experience. We also have a certified flight training simulator, which we use primarily to practice accidents and emergency situations for safety's sake, but it's also great on bad weather days so we can keep you moving forward quickly. We're a commercial airport. We have an advisory tower, so that's fantastic for students getting experience flying with diverse traffic. And with the practice area just minutes away, you can be certain that your lessons will always be efficient. We have a fantastic, casual, supportive environment that is really supported by that club mentality. We're also pet friendly, so we have 2 cats that live at the airport full time, And most of the admin team bring their dogs to work on a regular basis. So if you're hanging around studying, you usually have companionship. So I'm going to start talking about the aviation management program because most of you are ultimately going to want to go to the aerobatics. If you fall into that category, you're really going to want to consider this program. The shortage of pilots is meaning that you're no longer needing to spend several years building experience before you're able to get to that coveted airline. To accommodate for that, though, major carriers like WestJet and Air Canada are really leaning into post-secondary education as a way of making up for that loss of experience. This shows them that students have the study skills and the discipline to complete a study program, and they're likely going to be successful in their future company training. We've consulted industry players to get the input on the type of soft skills that they're looking for and have really condensed it into this great 2-year program with Assiniboine Community College. As I mentioned, this is a 2-year program. So year 1 consists of your private pilot training, as well as foundations in business, personal management, intercultural awareness, stress management, and math for pilots. By the end of your first year, you already are a licensed pilot. Now, courses may change and move around a little bit from year to year or move between terms as we continue to work with ACC to ensure that you're getting the courses that you need in the order that makes sense for you. By year 2, you're going to finish off that commercial pilot license, which means you're flying longer cross-country navigational trips, you've got your night rating, and doing instrument work. Many students choose to add additional instrument or aircraft type training as part of your study here, just as a way of preparing you for your future goals. So make sure to talk to us early on about what that is so that we can try and incorporate as much of that additional training as we can. You will graduate with a minimum of a commercial pilot license and 200 hours of flight time. Over at ACC, year 2 focuses on building those aviation business skills to ensure that you are successful both on the flight deck and off. Industry slowdowns are a normal part of flying, and losing medical certificates either temporarily or permanently can easily derail your career. These courses ensure that you're able to pivot when you need to and allow you to stay a valuable asset in your company for as long as possible. Unlike most of our programs, the aviation management has a single intake, and that is in September. If you are interested, applications are open now with an early bird deadline of March 30th and a final application deadline of June 30th. We keep the class size small to ensure that we can provide our very best instruction to all of our students, and so the best way to ensure your seat is to apply early. Don't wait. So if the aviation management is not necessarily the right fit for you, we also offer the professional pilot program. All of the flying, none of the coursework. So the professional pilot program will take you from your first flight all the way up to your first job. It includes your private and commercial pilot licenses. From there, you can choose one of 2 routes, either going with the instructor rating or the instrument and multi-engine rating, just depending on what you're looking for. This program is self-paced for the ultimate flexibility. We have monthly intakes. Start where you are, set your own schedule. You can accelerate it as quick as you want, or you can draw it out and take as long as you need. Now, we also have one more stream here, and that is modular licenses and ratings. That's a perfect way to get just the skills that you need to either get a recreational hobby license or completely upgrade your CPL or PPL to fit the career that you want. Now, modular training will take your flying to the next level. We'll recognize and finish previous flight training. So if you've started it somewhere else and your school shut down or you moved, life happens, come here, bring your training record, and we'll continue where you left off. We create customized training plans based on your existing skills and desired outcomes to make sure that we can get you there on your terms. You set the schedule, you decide the pace, and we'll keep up with you. Types of modular training include the recreational permit and private pilot license, that commercial license, the instructor rating, VFR over the top, so visual flight rules over the top, night rating, recurrency training, safe co-pilot courses, and then we offer a number of seminars and additional training. Now, choosing the right path for you is one of the first steps to making sure that you're able to succeed. While these are all amazing programs, if it's not the right fit for you, it's not going to get you where you need to be, and people are going to get frustrated, and that's certainly not what we're aiming for. So how do you choose? Well, the aviation management, as I've mentioned, is designed to get you to the airlines. It's perfect for full-time students entering careers in aviation. It's designed to provide training to maximize success in commercial airline operations for students with no previous post-secondary or flight training required. It's very structured and group-focused, but it's not very flexible. Classes are at a fixed time, and you move together with your group at a set pace. If that's not the right fit for you, again, in contrast, the professional pilot program has either a full or part-time career track, so you get to set the pace. It's perfect for those students who either already have a degree or for those that really don't plan on going to the airlines anytime soon. There's flexible schedules allowing you to accelerate your training or slow it down to fit your life, depending on what you need. Now, the downside is it requires self-discipline, and our in-person ground schools are not always available when you need them. Our modular training, again, same, full-time or part-time options. It's perfect for recreational pilots that have no intention whatsoever of going on into a career path. It recognizes previous training and skills and offers flexible schedules, but like the professional pilot program, it requires that self-discipline and motivation to keep going. And again, our in-person ground schools might not be available when you're wanting them. Getting to graduation is really just the beginning. What comes next is really limited only by your imagination. Now that you have your commercial pilot license, you are legally entitled to work in Canada. But the next steps are really where things start to branch out. Many of you will choose to continue on to the multi-engine and instrument ratings before moving up to regional carriers like Vanguard, Perimeter, Fastair, Kuwaitan, and even potentially larger organizations like Porter, Jazz, and Encore. But BFC is a product of its environment, and we know it's really not the only pathway for pilots looking for more. Aerial application is a key driver as we're surrounded by farmland, and so if that's the path you want to take, then we can get you connected. On the other hand, several of you will choose to switch seats and complete your instructor rating with us. This is an excellent way to give back to your community while developing a richer and more in-depth understanding of airmanship. Airlines certainly value this knowledge, and it's a valid pathway to get the experience needed to eventually reach the airlines. BFC grads may be offered a job upon graduation to stick around and join our team while building their flight hours towards their APTL license, or you may choose to make it a permanent career and enjoy the adventure of aviation without sacrificing your time away from your family. Brandon has seen a significant increase in the number of air ambulance flights since the start of the pandemic. While northern and remote communities have always relied on this service, the scarcity of medical resources right now and the aging population means that pilots are also able to stay local and close to home, which can be a major draw. Of course, there are many opportunities here that I haven't talked about. That includes fire suppression, conservation work, search and rescue, pipeline monitoring, access to remote work sites, so much more. I simply don't have the time to discuss all the options, but if you're interested in a career in aviation and you don't know where to go, give us a call and we're happy to explore those opportunities with you. If you're really ready to take that next step and join us, one of the first things that you should do is go and complete your medical exam. These must be completed by a Canadian Aviation Medical Examiner called a CAMI, and you can find the link to the full global database linked on our website. It's unusual as a healthy adult to discover that you can't actually pass a medical certificate, but it does happen from time to time, and it's better to know before you invest thousands into your training. If you aren't able to get that medical certificate, though, don't give up. It takes an incredibly large team of people to keep those planes in the air and getting to those destinations safely. Somewhere on that team of flight followers, dispatchers, air traffic controllers, fuelers, ticket sales, airport managers, somewhere on that team, there is a role that is perfect for you. Once you have that medical certificate, you can find the entrance requirements and application forms to all of our programs on our website. Most of these programs have monthly intakes, the exception being the Aviation Management Program, which gets underway in September. The early admittance deadline for that is March 30th, with a final deadline at the end of June. Seats are limited though, so the earlier you apply, the easier it is for you to get in. If you're not quite sure what program is right for you, or you have questions about student loans, scholarships, or anything else really, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to help. My contact information is on the screen right now, and a recording of this presentation will be available on our website shortly for you to review. We are completely out of time, but do stick around later for the presentation by Manitoba Aerospace later today to find out the other side of this incredibly amazing industry. Thank you all so much for joining us. Take care.